As a professional fiduciary, a lot of times we have clients where they're house rich, cash poor. And because of that, we need to find an alternative way to get money. And to sell a property immediately usually creates a large capital gain, especially in this area where properties are, 3-4 million or more. And they bought the house for $75,000 back in 1973. So, you don't want to pay that $1 million tax bill, which is what it would end up in California. So finding a good loan broker that can see the opportunities to be able to solve problems makes a big difference. So Mark was really good at just listening to my problem and finding a solution. Having to sell a property, especially if a client really wants to stay in the home, is really one of the reasons why we look at this as an option. If a client doesn't care, sometimes it makes sense to sell the property ahead of time. It's not usually my preference just because of that huge capital gains issue. It just makes it easier to continue providing the care that they need. Because a lot of times when people get older, they need 24-hour care. It's not cheap. And if they don't have the cash, then how do you resolve that? And the reverse mortgage in this case really does make sense. What I liked about Mark is he really listened to what my problem was to find the best solution. There's a lot of reverse mortgages out there, but they may not fit the bill of what we're wanting. And so sometimes the terms, the length, that type of stuff made a difference. But Mark seems to have a lot of connections and finds the right loan process to go through. And he's also helped me with just evaluating other clients, even if I don't get a reverse mortgage. He's helped me say, okay, I have one client who already has a reverse mortgage. I got him with the reverse mortgage. In my business, professionals are so important because we can't know everything. Whether even if you just hire a realtor, you want the best person who's the best educator to really understands what you're trying to fix. I mean, anybody can sell a house if they're licensed, but there's still people that are exceptional in their field. And that's what I try to align myself with, are those exceptional professionals. And I put Mark in that category because he really went out of his way to find the solution. And again, knowing how to approach it. We may not always have an answer, but a couple of times I had to ask him a question. And he says, let me research that just to make sure my answer is accurate. And he'd get back to me. That doesn't mean he's not knowledgeable, but we're all smart enough to know that sometimes you just need to get some additional advice just to make sure you're going the right way. As a professional fiduciary, you have to be comfortable with your professional team. And Mark is one of the professionals that I would work with. And I like Mark. And actually, Mark is the only one I really want to work with when it comes to this area, because he listens, he asks questions, he tells you what the process is. Because not a lot of fiduciaries are not tax experts. They're just more healthcare. And so they don't understand all of the ramifications of what you're doing. And he explains it all step by step. And that's really good too. I mean, I kind of went over it because I knew some of it already, but still he treats you with respect. He doesn't, he's not condescending. Some people are. They're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This is what you need to do. As a fiduciary, we don't need that. We need somebody who has that expertise, that knowledge, and explains everything in full detail so you feel comfortable when you're making that decision. Because we have to make decisions that are in the best interest of our clients, as we know. And if we have doubt that we've made that best decision, that makes it harder when we have to make those choices. And Mark is very good at making you feel comfortable once you've made that decision and gone through that whole process. I have no regrets with either of those two loans that I got from him.